Legendary here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Repeat Remake, Sissel's Path. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. Alright. I don't know. The things we saw, it all stuck in my head. He let his head fall backwards and he stared up at the ceiling. I'm still mad at him. I wish he told me all this sooner. It would have saved me years of thinking I was an unwanted child. But I get it. Sissel let out a bitter laugh and nudged his head towards a part of the ceiling. I followed his gaze. A large portion of the ceiling and walls looked newer. There was a fresher coat of paint over areas that were obviously repaired in the past. Do you remember that story I told you last night over dinner? Yeah, I think so. You mentioned trying to surprise Hershel by baking him a cake for his birthday, but you were tired and fell asleep with the oven on. Yup, I ended up burning down half the cafe. I just wanted to do something nice to repay him for all the good he's done for me. Instead, I just managed to make everything worse. Now that I think about it probably drove him deeper into debt with those shitty guys from this morning. And yet, Hershel still kept me around. He said it wasn't my fault and kept supporting me all the same. Despite the deep furrow in his brow, a small smile began to spread across Sissel's face. I've always felt kind of worthless. I grew up feeling like an absolute charity case, you know? Every time teacher Hershel helped me or something, I just felt awful. Like I didn't deserve any of it. The reason why I worked so hard is because I wanted to stand up on my own 2 feet and pay them back for their kindness someday. I guess Boss kind of felt the same way. So I get it. I'm still angry. Hershel really fucked up when he stole that money from my mom. But he just wanted to help. And he's been trying to unfuck things ever since. Sissel laughed. He turned towards the part of the cafe that was still a mess from this morning's intrusion. Those guys who came into the cafe this morning, they were the ones who killed my mom. Not Hershel. They were the ones who forced me to grow up on the streets like garbage. His eyes stilled into a determined glare. Hell, if I'm gonna let them take away the last family I've got left. He chuckled softly. I've still got to give Boss an earful for being a fucking twat who's trying to deal with all this on his own. So I've decided, I'm gonna find him and sort things out together. We can squabble about it all we want afterwards. A shy look suddenly flushed across his face as he glanced up at me sheepishly. Thanks, Adrian, for sticking with me through all this. Probably sound like an idiot right now. This was the obvious choice from the beginning, wasn't it? I just had a lot of feelings to work through, but thank you for helping me every step of the way. I wouldn't be here without you. My own cheeks felt very warm as Sissel reached out and held my hands in a comforting squeeze. Seeing this renewed determination in Sissel's eyes, it filled me with a sense of hope. Second, y'all. Coffee time. Alright, that's the last of the coffee. Okay. Alright. I smiled and squeezed back. Of course. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Alright. We had decided to wait around at the cafe for Hershel to return home, and then ambush him with either some fussy shouting or a hug. Sissel hadn't decided which yet. But, as the hours ticked by, our nervousness slowly grew. It was almost past midnight. Sissel muttered that Hershel had to come back soon, or at least give him a call. I still have the twat's spare keys to the cafe and the spares to his old rusty truck, he said. And so we waited, but Hershel was still nowhere to be found. After pacing around the dining area for what felt like forever, Sissel marched upstairs to search around for hints of where Hershel might have gone. I didn't feel particularly comfortable about rummaging through Hershel's stuff, so I decided to stick around the dining area in case he came back. There was still no sign of him, though. I sighed and fiddled with my camera quietly. Hey, Echo, you there? A soft chill brushed across my fingers. Yeah, I'm here. Is there any chance you could help us track down Hershel? You seem to have a talent for that kind of thing. Sorry, I've grown too weak as of late. That's not really an option in my diminished form. Oh, sorry to hear that. Have you been recovering much? No, not really. Oh, is there anything I can do to help? You don't need to worry about me. You just keep focusing on your current situation. There was a pause. Speaking of which, there's been something I've been meaning to tell you. I'm running out of time. There's something I have to do while I'm still able. I'll be leaving you for a while. What? You can't leave yet! What am I gonna do without you? Echo let out a quiet chuckle. You'll be fine. Just keep pushing forward. These threads, these bonds that you've woven around you, they're yours. You don't need me anymore. Huh? Wait, what do you mean? Where are you going? I felt Echo's presence slowly fade without another word. A single fleck of light danced out of my camera lens and flickered away into the night sky. A hushed quiet suddenly fell over the cafe. Was he really gone? I sighed and grasped my camera tightly. Knowing that Echo would no longer answer when I called for him, I suddenly felt a little lost. No. I stood up and shook my head furiously, as though warding away those cold thoughts. I can't lose my cool now. Gotta keep pushing forward. Just like he said. I got this. My phone suddenly buzzed and nearly knocked me over in surprise. I scrambled to turn it on to find Sissel messaging me. Hey, Adrian, you doing okay down there? Everything's fine, just a little quiet. What about you? Did I find anything upstairs? Nothing so far. So, about this morning. I'm sorry I ghosted you. I still feel kind of bad about it. Hey, it's all good. Everyone needs their space sometimes. Just let me know next time so I worry less. I was like, no? Alright. I know, but I still want to make it up to you, so, well, here you go, as promised. Huh? Notification just popped up. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Do we take a look or do we skip it? Do we take a look or do we skip it? Oh, fuck it. Let's take a look. I can edit. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Oh, girl, look at that, bud. Damn, you are sculpted. Anyway, Jesus. I'm alike. I tapped the image and a selfie of Sissel expanded onto my screen. A very nude selfie. His face was flushed red as he held his phone camera above his head, revealing himself in all his glory. I could see the cafe's bathroom in the background. He clearly took this mere moments ago. Oh my. Damn, you look nice. I mean, I was fully joking earlier, but I appreciate the treat nevertheless. You are now fully forgiven, Uwu. Well, it felt right to do that now that we're officially boyfriends and all that stuff. I'm definitely saving this for future use. Oh, you're never gonna let me live this down, are you? Nah, you're right. Why jerk off to a noob when I've got the real thing right here? Also, you still owe me a cute pet name. There was a loud clatter upstairs as though Sissel had knocked something over. God, you're the worst! Talk to you later. I'm gonna keep searching the place. Sounds good. I'm still allowed to get lewd with you later, right? You didn't actually say no. There was a long pause. The ellipses of Sissel as typing flashed on and off several times as though he was trying to make up his mind. Yeah, sure. I let out a laugh as I stuffed my phone back into my pocket. He was so fun to tease. My chest fluttered with giddy warmth as I grinned at nothing in particular. It was nice, being so close to Sissel, especially compared to how things went during the last timeline. The memory of it made me shudder apprehensively. I reached down and clutched my camera tightly. I will never take this for granted, I swear it. Oh god, no, not the fucking remnant, really? God, he got torn to pieces. How far along his regeneration can he be? A biting chill abruptly filled the cafe, sending shivers down my spine. I stood up, dread crawling nauseatingly across my skin as I glanced around frantically. God damn it, now of all times? Come out, I know you're here! There was a low gurgle from a corner of the dining area. I crouched down and glanced under a table. Okay, so I was right. Hasn't regenerated that much yet, thank God. The dark, wispy head of the remnant was dragging itself across the floor. Its maniacal grin spread right across its face. Maybe it's better this way. I could end it here. Take this accursed debt with me. Sissel will finally be free. Sis, I wonder, what would you think of me now? I stared at it for several long moments as it continued to gurgle its nonsense. Then I stood up and shouted upstairs. Hey, Sissel, where do you keep the broom and dustpan? Oh, it's behind the counter near the cash register. Thanks. Gonna sweep it up. Like trash. Like garbage. I promptly swept the remnant's blabbering head into the stained dustpan and unceremoniously dunked the contents into a nearby trash can. Its nonsensical rambles turned into muffled grunts as I tied the bag, marched outside, and tossed the whole thing into the dumpster. I wasn't going to let it ruin everything, not again. I made sure to slam the dumpster's lid for good measure. Despite my best efforts, the remnant's words stuck in my head as I stepped back into the cafe. I wonder how this whole new timeline was affecting Hershel. Last time he fell into a pretty dark place. I glanced around. The cafe isn't burned down this time around, but there was still plenty of room for things to go wrong. Leaving Hershel to stew alone in his thoughts might have been a bad idea. Hey, Adrian! Sissel poked his head up from the stairwell with a nervous frown. I searched upstairs and up. It looks like Boss took out all the money from his bedroom. He showed me a few of his hiding spots where he stores his cash for emergencies. They're all gone. What? I leaned over the counter and stared. The cash register's empty too. Sissel tugged at his ears nervously. You didn't think he took all the money trying to pay off those debt collectors, do you? I know for a fact that Boss's finances haven't been too hot lately. He definitely doesn't have enough to pay off people literally threatening his life. Ugh, I hope he's not doing something stupid like dealing with them all by himself. Panic rose in his voice as he pulled out his phone and tried to call Hershel repeatedly. No answer. Where the fuck is he? I swear to God, if anything happens... The remnant's rambles echoed in my head as I gritted my teeth nervously. Hershel wasn't exactly in the best state of mind when we left him. And, well, you saw his memories. He doesn't exactly have the healthiest sense of self-worth either. You don't think he's gone to meet those debt collectors? They're gonna kill him! Those guys don't seem like the negotiating type. Especially knowing what they did to my mom. Sissel and I exchanged anxious looks. We better go find Hershel before he tries anything rash. Yeah, I've been trying to do that for the past few hours. We have no idea where he is. How the hell are we supposed to find him before... Sissel let out a frustrated hiss and slumped into a chair, his head buried in his hands. He's the only family I've got left. What if he... I shook my head furiously. No, we had to stay calm. Think. Ugh, I racked my brain frantically. Where would Hershel go if he wanted to make a deal with these debt collectors? Was there a meeting place for these shady dealings, or maybe a drop-off point? I needed more information. Information. My eyes snapped open. Yep, had a feeling. Looked a bit familiar, yep. Morse, I think that's their name. And that's the story of how I ended up getting a tattoo done by an ex-gang member. He was really nice once I got to know him, though. He even gave me his number and told me to call him if I was ever stuck in a bad place. I stood up suddenly. What's the matter? Did you figure something out? You remember telling me that story of how you got your tattoo from that ex-gang member? You said his name was Morse, right? Sissel blinked and stared at me strangely. I mean, I did get my tattoo from an ex-gang member, but I don't remember telling you about it. I froze. Oh, did that happen before or after my little rewind? I was pretty sure I only met Morse during my last timeline, too. Fuck it, we have to stay focused. You still have his number, right? Call him. Now. Alright. Sissel fumbled with his phone contacts frantically. The two of us listened anxiously as the speakers buzzed for what felt like an eternity. Finally, someone picked up. Speak. Hello, sir. Ah, Sissel, that ratty little kid that Jenny tried to smuggle into a tattoo parlor. Yeah, that's me. Listen, you said that I could call you if I ever ran into trouble. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.